Here's your weekly sports rush. So gear it up, fans. Oh yeah. Roar it up, fans. Shout for your team. Shout out loud.
Hello and welcome. I am Keemer, and this is the Sports Page Pundits Houston Cougars edition. The Coog fans are excited for the next season already. Granted, they've just had a little heartbreak a couple of weeks ago, losing to Florida in a very close match where you could say the Cougs had the game in control until the last minute or so when they had a couple of mistakes that cost them the ball game. But there is great reason to be excited about next year's team. One is the incoming class, which is ranked second behind the Duke Blue Devils, and I believe is the best class the Cougars have ever recruited. We'll talk more about that on some other podcast shows, but for right now, I am going to talk to you about three players that are returning players to the Cougs. Well, two have already confirmed. One will confirm, believe that. But I want to talk to you about Emanuel Sharp, JoJo Tugler, and Milos Uzan. According to Milos's agent, Aman Deshi of PNW Sports Group, Milos is about to dip his toes into the NBA draft pool. Now, the NBA draft is June 25th and 26th, and he's going to attend the NBA combines where he'll get feedback from the NBA scouts and NBA teams as to whether or not he's actually ready to be an NBA player. Personally, I don't think he is ready to be an NBA player. And I think a lot of the feedback he is going to get will make him a better college player, because I do believe in May he will be confirming the fact that he is coming back to Houston. Now, it's not unusual for Kelvin Sampson to have players dip their toes in the pool in their junior year. Let's face it, Marcus Sasser did it, Jamal Shed did it, and both of them got the feedback that they needed for them to come back and be first-round draft picks in the next year. And I think that's what Milos is looking for, is to be a first-round draft pick. Because right now his draft stock is somewhere around 45th, which puts him firmly in the second round. And if you know anything about the NBA draft, is if you're close to making it to that first round, you have the opportunity to get guaranteed money. Guaranteed money comes in the first round, and not guaranteed money comes in the second round. So if you're close to that first round, I would do everything I could to get into that 25, 30 range as opposed to the 40, 45 range. So he's close, and going to the NBA draft pool, the NBA combine will give him the opportunity to do some of that. Now, the reason why I would tell you that he's coming back is mainly because of his inconsistent offense. And the inconsistent offense was shown without a doubt throughout the whole dance, the NCAA dance, the big dance. In 2 games, he averaged somewhere around 18 points, and that was the 22 points he had against Purdue, where he also hit the game-winning shot, and the 16 points that he had against Southern University of Illinois at Edwardsville, a school I'd never heard of, but he scored 16 points in that game. Now, the other 4 games, and honestly the more important 4 games of the tournament, he averaged just over 6 points a game. You are not making it to the NBA averaging 6 points a game and 4 assists a game as a point guard. It's just not going to happen. You are definitely G League material at that point in time. So with respect to his game, in the biggest moments, in the biggest game of the year against Florida, he scored 6 points and had 3 assists, I believe. But in any case, that's not getting the job done. You might point a finger in that direction. His production wasn't there, and it just really didn't help the Cougs in that game against Florida. But that's neither here nor there. That game is over. We're talking about next season. And what I would tell you is good for Milos is the fact that he's a 6'4" guard. He's got a good wingspan. He's a good defender, good on-the-ball defender. One of the best things about him is the ball is in his hands a lot, and he's a low turnover guy, which is a great thing. He also has a great floater game, and he shot this year from three land about 42%. The reason he'll be back, again, is inconsistent shooting. And he's not the type of guard. Another reason is he's not the type of guard that you see taking over games. If you just think back a year or so ago when we had Jamal Shed was the kind of player that could take over a game. When you needed a basket, you knew you would put the ball in his hands and he would make the right play. He would make the basket, be it a contested three, be it driving the lane and making a layup and getting fouled, or even just driving and pulling up and hitting a mid-range jumper. You knew that he was going to be putting the team on his back and making that kind of play. Milos doesn't have that or hasn't shown that in my opinion. And another thing that I think is really important for Milos to work on is physically getting himself a little bit bigger. Another 10, 15 pounds would do him well in an 82-game NBA season. I don't think he handles. I don't think he's the type of kid that likes the physicality. But if you're going to go to the NBA, you're going to have to like the physicality of the game, and you're going to have to get yourself ready for that physicality. Between college and pro, really two different ball games. Really, really two different ball games. And I would hate to think that Milos is just a college great player when he could be an NBA good player. So, and one other reason that he's coming back has to do with the transfer portal. Yes, one of his old friends is coming to the University of Houston, a guy by the name of Pop Isaacs. Pop is one of those guys like Jamal Shed who you give him the ball and he will score it for you no matter how he's going to take the game over at a certain point and score it. So I think that Milos can take some notes from his old pal, Pop Isaacs. They used to play together back in Nevada when they were in school together. And so for that reason and those reasons, I do think that Milos, it's good for him to dip his toes in. It's good for him to get that feedback from NBA teams, NBA coaches, NBA scouts. Hopefully he comes back and does what Shed and Sasser have done, put all of that to work for him so that he can get up into that first round next year in the NBA draft. Not this year. I don't think he's going to make it this year. The next player that I want to talk to you about happens to be my favorite player on the team. And that player is Mr. JoJo Tugler. JoJo has decided not to dip his feet into the NBA draft waters because I think he already knows what he has to work on. And if you're looking at this video I'm showing you right now, this is what he has to work on, being a stretch kind of guy in the NBA. He's about 6'8". He's got a huge wingspan, but he is not going to be playing center in the NBA. Actually, he's going to be playing power forward. And so he's going to have to work on his game with respect to taking some threes, and he's also going to have to work on his game more offense from underneath. He's going to have to, if he's taken the place of Juwan Roberts, he's going to have to get his footwork down. He's going to have to work with his back to the basket a little bit more. He's going to have to provide some punch down low because right now he's the only one that's going to be down low with the ability to provide some punch. There are some players coming in that have some more, shall we say, offensive ability, but they're not the type of guy that's going to get you a basket underneath the basket. We'll talk about them in a later date. But for right now, I think Tugler really needs to work on his offense. He averaged about 5 points a game. Last year, he's going to have to double that if he's going to really make an impact on the offensive end for the Cougars. We know he's going to make an impact on the defensive end. He's a Big 12. He's the Big 12 Defensive Player of the Year. He made third team, unbelievable third team. I can't believe that. He should have been at least second team. Big 12. And he's also the Lefty Driesell Award National Defensive Player of the Year award winner. Like I said, he's about a 6'8" guy. He's got a 7'3" wingspan. He's excellent defender in the pick and roll. He's an excellent rim protector. He's a strong rebound, especially on the offensive end. That's where he really typically has gotten most of his points. Granted, like I said, he only averaged 5 a game. But typically, those 5 points a game, 4 of them came from putting back missed shots. Now, he's going to have to develop a way to develop his own offensive moves down low. I just hope my buddy Hakeem Olajuwon can get with him and get some footwork down so he can at least have some type of an offensive threat down low. Because in the college game, you have to have somebody who is a threat down low so that to open up space for your shooters on the outside. Now, one little nugget that I have for Mr. Tugler and the fans of Mr. Tugler, he is only one of 6 Houston Cougar ball players who have blocked 8 or more shots in a game. You can expect Tugler on the defensive end to be an even bigger monster. He's got to stay out of foul trouble. Got to really stay out of foul trouble. His foul trouble got us in trouble a couple of times this year because we were really thin in the big man spot. Now, this incoming class, this transfer portal, we have corrected that. We're going to have a lot of big bodies on this Cougar team coming next year. Also, a lot of guards, so it's going to be a really well-balanced team compared to it. But in either case, next season, he needs to be a strong threat down low to help this Cougar team make it back to the Final Four. And my bet right now is that they will win it. The last player I want to talk to you about is Emanuel Sharp. And before I get to all of the greatness that Emanuel Sharp coming back to the Houston Cougar team means, I do want to point out he made two huge mistakes in the final minutes of the Final Four game. I'm not going to say they cost us the game, because you don't lose a game because of one or two plays at the very end of the game. You lose the game because of some plays early on in the game. When you have a 12-point lead and you can't hold it, that's a problem. As I've always said all season long, we, the Cougs, have just, for whatever reason, every game there's a 5 or 6 minute stretch where we don't score a basket. And that happened to this game as well. So I'm not going to blame Emanuel Sharp on anything. Granted, the first mistake was the ball went off of him out of bounds. Second was he couldn't get a shot off at the end of the game. True, those things did happen. But this kid is a player. He's a true leader. And all I can tell you is when the Cougs needed a big shot this year, he was the one that made it. He was the guy that came from 30, 35 feet out to hit that long range jumper to give us a lead, put us ahead, win us a ball game. Emanuel Sharp is that guy on this team. So I'm really excited for him to come back. The other reason why I'm really excited for him to come back is he is a 4-year senior in the Kelvin Sampson program, and he will help this young class, because it's a very young class that we're getting, of very talented kids, but he will be a leader on this team. And this team, with losing Juwan Howard and Javier Francis and some of the other seniors that have left, this team is going to need some leadership, and Emanuel Sharp is the guy to perform that for us. Again, he didn't dip his toes in to see what he needs to improve, but I think it's pretty clear what he needs to improve, and that's, again, a little bit of a consistency. He averaged 13 points a game this year. He hit big shots all the time, but for me, the biggest reason and the most exciting reason to have him back is because his senior leadership. And I'm going to tell you right now, he's a big, strong guard. I think he's 6'3", 210. He's a big, strong guard. I'd like to see him going to the hole. I'd like to see him, as he's got that reputation of being a stellar three-point shooter, again, shooting 41%, 42% from three. But I'd like to see him take that fake on the three-pointer and drive to the hole. He's a big body, strong guy. I think he can make his three-point score that way, getting fouled on the way into the basket. So I'd like to see that more out of him this year. But the other thing that is really important and really something that I think is going to really make a difference for this Cougar team is he has something to prove. And when a guy's got something to prove and he wants it bad enough, he's going to make it. It's a shock to me that this year's NBA draft probably won't have a Houston Cougar in the first round. But between the senior Uzan and Sharp and Tugler next year, I think will probably go pro. We may have 4 kids. I'll tell you the other kid later on, but we may have 4 kids going pro next year, which is exciting to me. Sharp coming back, proving the point that he is the guy on this team with his senior leadership, I think will really, truly make a difference for the Houston Cougars this year. I'm Keemer. I'm out. This is the Sports Page Pundits saying goodbye. Bye-bye now.
Welcome to the game where we don't just report, we are Sports Page Pundits, the final court. Pumping fists with a voice that you can't ignore.